like I say, I was one of the people who thought steam pressure and basically soaking wood and pretty much also, steam, water, waterlogging wood and then bending it into shape and then basically building wooden ships out of it, out of 4-inch timbers or 8-inch or whatever, and also trying to bend the world's largest beam basically into a shape pretty much, then keep it from moving. So basically, from some ancient point, basically before Helena Troy, pretty much, my people were building wooden ships. So anyway, where basically Earth has always been pretty much my planet, and so Helena Troy was some beautiful woman that basically would pretty much launch my ships. I had a couple shipyards, like 2 out of 3 shipyards, and starting from some great distant point in time in the past, basically, Helena Troy was just this girl. People said she was beautiful. I was like, okay, have her launch my ships. It's kind of like a publicity thing. So, anyway, yeah. Well, a lot of people are like, it's not true, it's not true, it's not true. It's like, yeah, it's true. Anyway, that's why, I was just like, and basically I was just like, inventing, build more ships, build a new ship, build a new ship, build a new ship. Let's see about watertight doors. And cannon. Nope. Actually, mostly it was what I wanted was basically, docks had to be really up high and they had to lift up into a ship, and they had to be solid walls of wood and blah, blah. And I wanted to get a door that could be opened up in the side where you could just load from the dock into the ship and then seal that door. Anyway, out of wood, that's kind of tricky and kind of hard because as you're in the ocean, and plus it weakens the structure and all that other stuff. So it's kind of hard to do a dockside door to unload stuff, in a wooden ship and other things like that. So, I was having my people work on watertight wooden doors and all that other stuff, and I'm working on the metal and stuff like that. So, anyway, so yeah, Helena Troy, shipyards of ancient past. That's why in the crystal, what's it called? They had, on the elephant table, the table with the elephant little things, because I had elephants in the past too, and then all my ships designed 15,000, they say, or so. I was like, I was having some made for me, and using my idea, and then I had expert wood carvers and all that other stuff. So from distant point of Helena Troy, basically, I had wooden sailing ships. And I chose, I was like, Helena Troy sounds good. Okay. Anyway, so she launched so she was launching ships for me and blah 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 with some great queen blah 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 blah, and I had a couple shipyards and they were cutting down some trees and blah 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 and I was invent. What else can we do? And stuff like that. I'm just kicking it, and so yeah, so those were my wooden ships, and so that's why when World War One or World War Two started or whatever, that's why it was like I've been building ships since Helena Troy before she came along. So those are all my old shipyards. So anyway, so basically, pretty much, yeah. So, and that's why it was most likely is basically like, pick a ship, grab it, and I need you to do this for me. So that's why come along into basically 19 or 18 whatever or 19 whatever, basically, when I was attacked or when we were attacked in World War One, World War Two, like I've always said, it'll be like life turns against you because it has. So basically, White Star Lines, like I said, my schools trained all the captains, different schools around the world, and they're all my ships in the ocean. Like it didn't really matter. You were very unlike if you owned a ship between something and something. Basically, it probably came from one of my yards, basically. And so basically, when I wanted the Titanic, I got the Titanic, world's largest ship shipyard and all that. So anyway, and that's why when basically my Germany or my America or whatever was being attacked, well, my people trained all the crews. The ships were built at one of my shipyards regardless. So, anyway, like I said, the Irish people had no idea who they were talking to or what they were talking to. If they had known, I wonder what they would have thought. As basically, it's me, Lucifer Star. So, anyway, so when they came and they asked somebody to ask somebody for help, and that got back to me, like, well, how can I help you? I wish I could go back and relive those moments. It's like, yes, of course. What do you need? And that's why Belfast and Pop. So like I say, since Helena Troy. She was some girl. Used to launch ships for me at one of my shipyards where they launched 1,000 ships or something like that. Like I said, I had epic shipyards since year 1200. So anyway, so like I say, when my Germany or when my Belfast was having problems, well, yeah, the deepest, most endless financial person ever. So anyway, for a few brief moments, basically. It took a lot. It took a hell of a lot. And even then, like I said, my people were like, well, what about you? I was like, well, I wouldn't exactly worry about me too much. Like I said, 15 races, most of them sentient, and pretty much shipbuilding since Helena Troy. Very much having oldest roads since Rome. Basically protector of call girls and escorts and stuff like that. Protecting women's rights for centuries or millions of years. Basically everything from Roman laws to present day. What is Lucifer Star? There are a few times when I love being me. I said that a couple times. I was like, this is one of those times that I love to be me. Because, when World War I and World War II happened, when I said I wanted Germany evacuated, and the ships turned around and started picking up people off the shores. And Germany and Europe was evacuated. Technically, I've been doing evacuations from war zones for hundreds, thousands of years. Moving people to America, moving people around this planet. So, anyway, so when I wanted Panama Canal to be built, well, they got it done. And I love them. Freund Leben. Anyway, that's why many people who knew of my existence or who I was, it's like, well, I'm just a little businessman. Like I said, I would always downplay who I was. I was like, oh, me? I'm just a little businessman. That's all I am. Lucifer Star, mining and shipping. How can I help? So, well, I wouldn't, I generally only produced light tanks and stuff like that. Like I said, I didn't really want the general public or people running around with heavy-duty tanks like the Panzers. And technically the Panzers were, whatever. Anyway, they were expensive and, anyway. But at some point in time I decided that, because, well, I generally did trust Japan or China. Like I said, I never really doubted. I doubted China for about 0.2 seconds or a couple seconds, and then I thought about it, and then I realized, no, they never would. They would never betray me like that. They would, no. Their society is structured around honor and discipline and unity and everything else, and they've basically for thousands of years, 5,000 years or long distant time, they've always been perfect. So, that's why when Nixon or JFK or them basically came up to me and said, the Chinese are lying, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way. They don't. They wouldn't. I would almost say they're incapable of it, but it's not true. Of course they can lie, but they just, like I said, no. They would come to me or come to my people and say, I'm sorry, I can't work more than 18 hours or more than 12 hours. We're exhausted. And it's like, don't worry about it. I mean, they were the only ones. Well, Germany. Ireland too. Ireland would work those long, crazy hours. Like I said, that because my shifts were only 4 hours or 8 hours down inside of the engine rooms. There were some Irishmen that would work double and triple shifts, and I was like, you can work a double, you can't work a triple, And they were complaining because, I was restricting their hours. I wouldn't let them spend that long down in 150 or basically bad air and bad environment. It wasn't healthy for them. I was like, no, 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 no. It's not a good environment for you. You need a break. So anyway, so like I restricted their hours, and yeah, they complained. I was like, how about a raise, or something like that. Anyway, though, yeah, it gets all complicated and stuff like that. But basically, a lot of them would work doubles and triples and stuff like that. And I understand you want to save up some money for your family and everything else, but not at the cost of your health. So anyway, so yeah, there's lots of stuff like that. So anyway,